Alright, so today I had an interesting idea. This is a thing that I've done in the past 2 times, once with Salvador and once with Maya, but I thought it would be interesting to see if ChatGPT has gotten any better at making character builds. So today we will be looking at a 0. All of the gear and skills on this character were recommended by the AI. We'll go ahead and have a look at what it wrote out for us. So I asked what would be a good Sniper 0 build for Borderlands 2 at level 80 OP 10, and it basically spat this stuff out. So in the sniping tree, it said to get headshot, optics, kill confirmed, and velocity. In middle tree, it said to get fast hands, ambush, and deathmark, and unforeseen. And then in melee tree, it said to get killing blow, backstab, and many must fall. Now, I said, hey, this isn't enough stuff, so it gave us a couple more options of skills to spec. And so we have this spec right here for our Sniper 0. We've got Killing Blow, Grim, Follow Through, we've got Backstab, we've got Like the Wind, and we've got Many Must Fall. We've got Fast Hands, Fearless, Ambush, Unforeseen, Deathmark, and Two Fang. And then we have Headshot, Optics, we have Velocity, Bore, we have One Shot, One Kill, and we have Kill Confirmed. Now, obviously, there are a couple problems with this build. Why don't we have this crit skill? Why don't we have Critical Ascension? Why don't we have that one with the gun? Why don't we have Death Blossom and Rising Shot? Why do we have Many Must Fall? So, of course, this is just the issue of feeding a lot of input into an AI and just letting it sort of try to run amok and just spam out whatever it can come up with. So the build's not great. It could definitely use some work. Now, as for the equipment, it didn't do a bad job, I will say. It recommended pitchforks, Lyudas, Pimpernels, the Trespasser, not the Amigo, I guess it's not relevant enough yet. It recommended the Invader and the Storm. And then for our class mod, it said the Legendary Sniper, which makes sense. It said the B shield for our shield, it's the only one it recommended. For our grenade, it actually recommended a transfusion or a singularity, which is actually really smart, and that's actually really, really cool that it could come up with that, because we can use the singularity for boring, and then of course the transfusion just to stay alive. Now, I need to tweak this transfusion because it only has ×3 for some reason. I also trusted Gibbed with the code to go ahead and paste this out, so I might have to tinker with that. And then for our relics, it recommended damage or cooldown. So Bone of the Ancients is both. Now, for this build initially, since we do have a couple of nice snipers to work with, I thought to myself, most armored targets are slow, so a bigger projectile thing like the pitchfork would work there with our B shield. The Lyuda would probably be good for our smaller targets and also for our raids, so we will use a fire Lyuda. For our slag potential, we can run a Pimpernel alongside our grenade, so I thought that would be the best use case for it there, since we do have velocity, which will make it a little bit hard to use a Pimpernel for damage. And then we've got a Trespasser, which, I don't know, will just be useful for, like, Pete, and that's about it. Alright, we've gone ahead and fixed that grenade, and I've made all of our... They didn't save as level... It's fine. We'll just take level 80 bones. For some reason, they won't save as OP 10. So yeah, this is all of our equipment. Of course, a couple things we need to test on is some mobs and some bosses and maybe raid bosses as well. But realistically, this should be a good enough build because we are using split pellet weapons with a B shield, and everything else leads me to believe that this should work fine. So let's start with robots in Washburn. Okay, so first initial note, I want to turn Invis and throw kunai at this man, but I simply do not have that option. So instead we just chuck a grenade at him, and wow, he disappeared. It's crazy. It recommended us a pitchfork. Who would have guessed a pitchfork does good damage, especially if you have a B shield on. Now of course our healing isn't so great, so we are reliant on our transfusion. But yeah, it's gonna work, of course. Throw out some more transfusions, put some more dots and some heals out. Go ahead and hold W a little bit more. And of course, any build is safe if you are careful enough with how you play it. It's just not as optimal or as high damage as it nearly could be, considering the fact that critical ascension would basically be infinite damage anyway. So, yeah, just a minor negative of the build. We could have infinitely more damage, but of course it's a B shield build, so it's gonna work slowly. Go ahead and use our killing blow. Get farmed. Also unforeseen kicked in there, so that works. A little bit stupid, but we take that. And yeah, I mean, this build will definitely work. We might have to take a couple stops at some ammo vendors and stuff, but it'll work. Killing blow putting in work. Okay, now let's go ahead, since we're in the same map, we will take this up to Hyperius, because, you know, why not do that? And for that we will use a Fire Pimpernel, and we will switch to our Singularity. Alright, so of course, since we have Boar, things that can be bored will be bored, because that is simply the easiest way of dealing with your problems in life, is just to immediately acquire cheese and just do the cheesiest thing you're capable of. Go ahead and debuff the boy. And just kind of, you know, slowly get the thing to work. Maybe go ahead and put on a transfusion for a little bit of some panic healing, because ow, that hurt. There we go. Okay, so yeah, you can in fact still bore with this ungodly amount of projectile speed. Of course, that is a reason to not use it, but if you have it and you refuse to spec out of it for some reason, this works. Okay, so for our next area of testing, we are going to try out Bloodshot Stronghold. It should be a little more difficult than robots, because bandits are more likely to, you know, dodge and shoot and be annoying generally. So it'll be a little bit of a better test here, but if we play it right and we play it pretty safe, we should be okay still. Of course, we will lose out on critical ascension, for example, so we could have infinitely more damage once again, but we can always make it work slowly. So yeah, I mean, of course, this build is going to work. Once again, everything about it makes sense, except for, you know, the lack of 2 crit skills. And also a little bit more sniper ammo in your magazine would be cool. But this works. We do need to go ahead and test this out against a raid boss, for example. That's not Hyperius getting bored. So we're gonna go walk up to Terra and see how that goes. Realistically, it should be pretty safe. It'll just be a really, really slow fight if we were to commit to it. Okay, so for the Terra kill, I think you would probably want to go ahead and use the Pitchfork with the B shield here instead of the Lyuda, because it will be more pellets to work with for the B amp damage. But unfortunately, it's still going to be an incredibly slow fight, probably, but totally doable. Wow, that was a lot more damage than I expected it to be. Pitchfork puts in work. My bad. Okay. Of course, it still could be better. Critical Ascension, we could have a Crossfire, we could have some other stuff going on. But, like, wow, that was a pretty good little chunk. And we are going to have to hard focus any tentacles that we see, because we absolutely need all the ammo we can get on this kill. But it seems to be really, really good. Yeah, it really does feel bad that we don't have kunai or any really good way to apply a debuff. That would majorly help this build along. That'd be super duper nice for this. Oh, the healing took a while to get to me. And I'm out of ammo. Okay, well, there you go. So, yeah, this is totally doable if you don't just rush out and try to grab ammo. But it is what it is. Alright, so that was the free version of ChatGPT talking right here. So this entire build was based off of the free version of it. It gave us all of our equipment and all of our skills and stuff, but I've had someone so kindly give me the paid version of the build because they have it for their work. And with this build immediately looks a lot better. Of course, there are a couple problems still. We don't have kunai. For some reason, it is right there. It's right there. But we have critical ascension, so that's pretty cool. And then beyond that, we have nice skills such as rising shot. We've got still pretty much the same middle spec besides that though, and pretty much the same left spec besides that though, which is pretty fair. I guess at one with the gun would be nicer because of the mag size that it would add and the extra reload speed. But this is a much more workable build here. So we'll go ahead and spec into this and then take this against Terra just to show off how much better that will feel. Okay, so now we have the build spec. I'm feeling a lot better about our skill choices right now. Still kind of wish this existed, but it doesn't, so that's okay. We'll just go take this up against Terra because of course with mobbing and stuff like that, this is just going to feel better. And it was already pretty strong since it was mainly just the B shield talking. So we're mainly interested in seeing how much better this is for raids. Alright, so immediately we can start stacking critical ascension, and wow, is it going to make an incredible difference. It's going to feel so nice for us. So with this, of course, we are getting that super duper nice crit damage and gun damage buff. This is going to make frying the enemy so much easier. We're going to start stacking up damage faster than we can even fathom. It's going to feel great, and it's already feeling super good. Thank you, Boar. Very cool. And that's unfortunate, but that is just the way Terra rolls sometimes. So as you can see, this does a lot more damage. What a surprise, having critical ascension and a crit kill skill suddenly just give you a lot. Nutty. Alright, so now that we've seen the free version of ChatGPT, we've seen the paid version of it, we've seen what they both come up with, we're gonna do the human being version of it. Because of course we are. Why not? Alright, so immediately, of course, Deception. We're going to get Headshot and Killer. We're going to get Bore. From here, either of these two skills isn't really going to matter too much. We just want to get down the tree. We could spec Kill Confirmed. I don't spend too much time in Iron Sights or like ADSing though. At one with the gun for the mag size there. Fast to hands. We could get Ambush, but we're not really going to, sneak up on a guy with this build. We can get Fearless because we need to get down the tree, Rising Shot, Death Mark, Innervate. I feel like Two Fang could help out our fire rate with the Pitchfork a little bit. I know some people don't like it because it can make you feel a little more inconsistent, but we're going to go ahead and put points in it to get down the tree to Kunai. Killing Blow because why not, Grim because why not, Follow Through because of course, Execute for the funny dash. And then from here, we're left with 7 skill points, which legitimately can go anywhere. We can go ahead and just flesh out the skills that we have, and then just put points into Precision, because why not? I am going to avoid Velocity, because I prefer to be able to run a Pimpernel, so we're just not going to have it. Now, for our equipment, I am going to change a little bit. We're going to go ahead and get a Crossfire, and we're also going to get a Stockpile, because this will allow us to hold more bullet, and more bullet means more critical ascension. More critical ascension means less enemy. So of course we're gonna do that. Alright, we've got our new build. So, we've got a Jeremy, we've got a Not shock, it's slag, I swear. Crossfire. And we've got a Blood of the Ancients with an extra 90% sniper rifle max ammo. So we can now carry all of the bullets. We have many bullets. We have the Critical Ascension, we have Kunai with Deathmark to debuff the mobs, and we have Execute if we need to do a little bit of scooting. So with this, we'll take this up against Terra, and we'll see how this goes. Alright, so immediately we can throw Kunai to debuff, and then just start putting in work. And would have guessed, we can actually like just outright hurt the guy and debuff him and be happy about stuff without having to put too much thought into it, and it's super cool and super strong and it's great. Yeah, that's some good chunkage. Of course, if I would actually hit my crits too, probably would be doing a lot more. Just overall, the damage quality would improve. I mean, like, you know... Yeah. And there we go. Now, of course, this was a pretty bad kill by, you know, 0 sniping standards, but we got the job done. Everything worked out great, and of course this is gonna work. Sniper Zero is a tried and true build. Everything about this makes sense. ChatGPT was pretty close in a lot of regards, to be fair. Running a B shield for boss damage is always a pretty optimal pick, of course, but you know, having some more safety with like an antagonist or something else would have been a good swap. It didn't really say anything about doing that though, so it's just kind of how it was. So yeah, interesting thought process. AI 0.